Every photo you take with your DJI drone is going to be gorgeous. You really can't mess it up. However, if you want to enhance that photo and bring out the colors, you may want to edit it. I edit my photos in Lightroom. However, there are many other options, some very simple and some are free. So I will show you how I edit mine. Alright, I'm going to show you guys how I edit my photos using Lightroom. Now again, there are many other alternatives, but I really love Lightroom. This is a photo I took back on the East Coast, and it's a good photo, but it was really lacking a lot of vibrancy in color. This photo is in RAW format. I like RAW because you can really do a lot with the editing later on, and you can choose if you want JPEGs or RAW or both in your app. Now the first thing I do is, because this is a RAW photo, I go to lens correction and I hit this one and this one. So that just does a little bit of a correction since it is in RAW format. You don't need to do this if you do not have RAW photos. The next thing I do is I want to make sure my photo is straight. So I try to find the horizon level and see if my photo, okay, so it's a little off. So I'll have it like that. And I'll also make the aspect ratio 16:9. That's just something I like. The next part I do is I go to basic. You can always brighten a dark photo, but you can't always darken a bright photo, if that makes sense. So in this one, I'm going to up the exposure just a little bit here. I'm going to up the contrast. There we go. And then for the whites, I'm just going to go up a little bit and down on the blacks a little bit to give it some nice color there. Then I will go to highlights, and you can see the highlights make the sky overexposed. So maybe I'll go down a little, or maybe a lot on this one. And the shadows, it brings out the green. So I can either make them darker, I think I like them just right about here. The next part I'll do is I'll bring the colors out. So I'll add a little clarity, maybe a little bit of vibrance here, and then just a tiny bit of saturation. So just with a few adjustments, you can already see a big difference. Now usually I do a lot more, but for now I will just do a couple more things. So I'm going to close out of my basic. And another thing I like to do in mine is I like to saturate certain colors. So there's not really any reds I'm going for, but there is some green. So I can either make it like that, or I can make it a little brighter. I'll make it like that. Aqua, let's see, it doesn't do too much. We'll probably go with blue. There we go. So we obviously don't want too much, but I will give it a little bit. Next, I'll go here and make the green like that, or maybe I like it like that. For blue, I might bring it down just a hair. We don't want it to look too fake here. And that's usually all I'll do in there. The next thing I do is I will sharpen it a little bit, but I'll also reduce the noise to give it a nice polished look. And that's just a simple way. So you can see just by changing up your exposure and contrast and playing with your highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks, that can really improve your photo. Also, trying out different clarity, vibrances, or saturations may help a lot too. So you can always play around more. Maybe I want a little more black in my photo. Maybe add a little more white or a little less white. Let's see, we can add more shadows. I like that. Maybe bring the highlights more down, contrast it a little more, and expose it a little more. Like right there. So you can play with this. There's no one way to do this. There's no right way. It's whatever you like. So here's my final product. To me, I think it looks a lot better than my original photo. There are so many ways to edit a photo, so play around with it. As you can see, there's a big difference between the original and my final edited one, so editing definitely helps. So although your photos will already look great, editing enhances them even more.